So today what we're going to do is we're going to solve equations with fractions, and in order to do that we need to know about a new thing called common denominators. When you hear about the term common denominators, just take a moment and write this down. Basically think of it as a number that will allow each denominator to divide evenly. So if we take a look at this set of fractions, we have a fourth, an eighth, and a sixth. If we take a look at the denominator for a fourth, right? Numbers that can be divided by 4 are 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and 24. This one here for 8, we have 8, 16, and 24. For 6, we have 6, 12, 18, 24. And you'll notice that all of these numbers, when we look for multiples of 6, 8, and 4, the biggest number that all of them have in common is 24. So that means the common denominator is equal to 24 in this case. Now, the question is, how does this work with what we've got when we're talking about solving equations? Now, what we're doing is we're taking a look at equations with fractions in them. And what we're going to try and do is we're going to eliminate them. By doing some funky mathematics. In this case, if I look at question number 1 here, we have 2 and 3. The common denominator for 2 and 3 is going to be 6, because 6 can be divided by 3 and 2 together. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to rewrite our equation with brackets. X over 2 x over 2, we have minus, I'm going to put 3 in brackets here, equals 4 over 3 in brackets. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply each of these numbers by 6. So, any fraction, I'm just going to write the fraction 6 as 6 over 1. Any whole numbers, I'm just going to write the number 6. So this one, 4 over 3, we're going to also put 6 over 1. So now what we're going to do is we're going to simplify. Okay, so cross cancellation means 6 and that's a 1 and that's a 3. And then this 6 and that 2. So that means this is a 2. And now we have 3 over 1 times x over 1 gives us 3x minus 18 equals 8. Now, all we have to do is we're going to isolate x. X is on the left side, so we're going to leave that there, but we're going to get rid of 18 by adding it to both sides, so we end up with 3x is equal to 26. And now that we've got 3x is 26, we're going to divide both sides by 3 to get x by itself. And we end up with x is equal to approximately 6.6. That's our answer. Now, let's do the same thing again for the second problem here. So the second problem is 2x over 3. 2x over 3 plus 1 over 6 and 3 over 4. So the common denominator in this case is going to be 12, because 12 can be divided by 3, 6, and 4. So now we'll do the same procedure as we did before. We'll put everything in brackets, 2x over 3 plus, put a space for what we're going to put in, 1 over over 6 equals bracket 3 over 4. And now what we're going to do is we're going to fill in our 12. So we're going to put 12 over 1 because we have a fraction for this first part. We'll put 12 over 1 again for the second part. And then we have 12 over 1 for the third part. So now let's simplify those fractions. So 12 divided by 3 is 4. So this is going to be 2 and 1. And then this part here, yeah, it's going to be 3 and 1 because both of them can be divided by 4. And now we have simplified. We have 4 times 2 over 1, which is just 8x plus 2 equals 9. And x is equal to 7 over 8 as our final answer. We could also leave it as a decimal. Now let's move on to our next problem. So, for this next problem, the common denominator for 4 and 5 is 20. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do that same thing again where we put everything in brackets and then multiply by the common denominator. So now we're doing exactly what we did before, but now we're going to go and multiply everything by 20. So now this fraction we're going to multiply by 20 over 1. This whole number we're going to multiply by 20. And then this fraction we're going to multiply by 20 over 1 again. Now let's simplify those fractions. So 20 and 4 can both be divided by 4. So this is a 1 and this is 5. And then 20 by 2, nothing there, but now we have another simplification of 20 and 5, so now we have 4 and 1. And so now, imagine we have a 5, and we have x plus 2 minus 40 equals 12. So now we're going to use our distributive property that we learned from before, where we basically took the 5 and put it into our brackets to drop them. So we have 10x plus, not 10x, we have 5x plus 10 minus 40 equals 12. Simplify the left side to get the... So now we continue with what we normally do. Move our 30 to the other side and solve. Simplifying, we get 8.4. Now we'll do this next problem. Same thing again, please. So you'll notice that we've left space for all of these common denominators that we need. Now, if you look here, the common denominator of 3 and 7 is going to be 21. So we're going to multiply everything by 21. So we're going to write this as 21 over 1, 21 over 1, and 21 over 1. We will change this back to 21 times 2. And now we'll simplify each bracket. So this is going to be 7 and 1. This will be 3 and 1. Simplifying the next line, we're going to get the... So now, when you simplify that first part, you're going to get 7x plus 1 is 42 equals 3x plus 5. And now, go through the normal steps, and you'll get the following. And we get this. And we simplify and we end up with x is equal to -5 as our final answer.